Hey, 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 and what is up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Mystical Mondays on Our Mystic Roadtrip. I'm not sure if it's going to be called Mystical Mondays or Magical Mondays. Magical Mondays? I don't know. Whatever it is. It's Monday. And this is the second episode released today because I was a lazy bitch last week and shit happened and I didn't get my stuff done. So, here it is. I am now both on Spotify if you want to listen to audio, and now if you're watching me on YouTube, hello! How are you? You can look at this face for 30 to 40 minutes per episode. How do you feel about that? Good? Bad? Kind of indifferent? Me too. Because I'm recording on my phone, so I'm staring at my face too. It's not good. Anyways, this is, as I said, Our Mystic Roadtrip, and this is Kim, right here. She is a tarot reader, an astrologer, a life coach, a holistic dietitian, a person whose cat is causing her table to jump. So if the video is moving a little bit, that is her fault. You can blame her. I am also a guided meditation. I am also into spiritual, magical, mystical, woo-woo kind of stuff, and that's who I am. So if all that sounds cool and you like my goofy ass, you can stay. And yeah. My cat might be making a guest appearance. Is she going to make a guest appearance? There she is. Everybody say hello. Her name is Mama. She is trying to figure out where to go. Thank you for making a guest appearance. Anyways, welcome, guys. Today we are going to be talking about something pretty cool, something I'm into. Actually, something I took what are you doing? Oh, she found her toy. We're not playing with that right now, lady. Oh, Lord. I actually took a course, like a mail order course on parapsychology. So, and since I said parapsychology, I'm sure you guys know that means we are talking about ghosts and mediums and all that kind of cool stuff. I told you that that we were going to get a little bit into the more, interesting things like that. And honestly, this is a mystical, spiritual, magical podcast, but I am very into that stuff, and I do lump it into spiritual. Because my cat, I love her so much. She is not ecstatic about me recording, and she wants to play, and so she can wait. We will play later. I actually took this. I'm very interested in this stuff. I really think I've had some experiences myself, and maybe we'll chit chat about that once we get into the actual topic itself. But as always, we got to do some house cleaning. We got to do house cleaning and do some shameless plugging. And then we're going to talk about our week in the stars. Because, why not? If you want to reach out to me, contact me, there's ways to do that in the description box. If you want to support the podcast, there's ways to do that down there. At the very least, if you would please rate, review, comment, share, like, all that kind of stuff. That would be great. It would get me out in the algorithm, and we'd have more of a community. There's links to the medium publication that goes with this, where you get in-depth stuff on the stuff I cover here, as well as a shit ton of other stuff. Because I am a writer by trade, so now I'm trying to combine things. I'm a writer by trade, and I went to school for film. So la-da-da, here we go. Not that I think I'm really directing much of anything right now, but maybe in the future we'll see how it goes. But if you want to do that, you definitely check out the medium publication. If you are into history and women, you can check out my other podcast. It's called Where All the Ladies At. And I take a deep dive and try to figure out where the fuck all the women went in history. It's a fun journey. And I think that is it for all the housekeeping and shameless plugging. We will talk about more about that next at the end of this podcast. So let's do this. As usual, we're actually going to start with our week in the stars. And then we're going to move into talking about ghosties and doing a supernatural deep dive. So let's start. Are we going to start? We're going to start with Monday. We're going to start with today. And no, I'm not talking about the full moon, because if you want to know about the full moon, check out the last podcast. Today we're going to talk about another movement in the astrological sky, the sky, and everything. The sun in Capricorn is going to trine Uranus and Taurus. Sounds dirty, right? Maybe. It's a pretty harmonious aspect. It brings a lot of positive surprises, opportunities for innovation. Capricorn is very disciplined, when its energy mixes with Uranus, which is like eccentric, that's me. That's me. No, it's describing me, disciplined and eccentric. It's going to encourage you guys to be practical, but but trying to do groundbreaking solutions at the same time, it's possible. Trust me, it's possible. It's basically a day for kind of thinking outside the box, is what I'm trying to say. Keep your grounded in reality, but think outside your box. I know it sounds, it's possible, trust me. So kind of advice. Be open to unexpected opportunities, because those can always bring growth, right? Calculated risks is good, especially in things that are like financial or career aspect, because Capricorn and Taurus both are earth signs, and so that is, they are very structured in that. Taurus is very much home, and Capricorn is very much money. They're more than that, but we can talk about that at another time. You can also trust your intuition. Embrace new ideas. Try to make some changes. Because here's the thing. This day you might find that those changes actually align more with who you really are. And that's important. And it does go with the full moon energy, which, by the way, once again, I'll repeat, if you didn't listen to that podcast, go back and check it out, because I talk about the full moon and what it brings to you, the lovely wolf moon. Oh, I told you, I'm weird, I'm quirky. You might not dig it, but it's who I am, and I'm not editing this shit out. Aha! All right, guys, let's move on. Let's move on to the next day. Where are my notes? Hold on. Okay. So I did it again. I do this all the time, guys. So what I do is I write these scripts and these notes, and then I forget to put the day of the week. And I feel like you deserve to know which day of the week January 17th is without looking at your calendar. So I will look at my calendar right now. Here we go. January 17th is Friday. All right, so Friday. The sun in Capricorn is going to sextile Neptune in Pisces. Why is the sun in Capricorn? Hold that thought. That can't be right. The sun is not in Capricorn. Oh, it is. It's still Capricorn season. I forget about the January Capricorns. I'm a December Capricorn. They're cooler. So, sun in Capricorn is going to sextile Neptune in Pisces. The good old sextile. Once again, sounds dirty, doesn't it? It could be, you could get down and dirty with your creativity and compassion, and maybe a sense of spiritual aspect in there. Capricorns are very responsibilities, and so mixing them with Pisces, which is more dreamy energy, kind of makes this a pretty cool combination, because it is a harmonization of these powers, to be a little more idealistic with your vision, even in those areas that are maybe a little more practical, you know? I would say, advice-wise, pursue creative projects. You know, get out there, do some spiritual practices. You know, get out there and do your dances and do whatever you want to do. Just try to connect with your higher self in whichever way you do it. Also, try to stay grounded. But this is, okay. Sometimes the advice that comes from astrologers sounds a little counterintuitive. I need you guys to try to stay grounded on this day, but also allow your imagination to inspire you. It's not a day to take big actions, but you can take small little baby steps towards that dream. And you definitely should be dreaming big, but don't make grand movements. Just small little baby practical ones, you know? If you're trying to build a life coaching business, maybe today is not the day to go out there and market yourself. Maybe today is just a day to go through and edit your free assets and get some more, information and kind of plot out your course. It's not a day to go out there and like launch. It's a day to prepare to launch, if that makes sense. Okay. Also, acts of kindness, charity. Come on, people. The world is on fire, so any type of kindness is always is much appreciated. You know, try to connect with the collective. We are, once again, and I'll repeat, going into, like, Pluto has just entered Aquarius. So the transformation and everything is happening in the collective, not in the individual, which is where it has been. And I said this in the last one with Pluto being in Capricorn. The changes in everything has been in the individual, and this, as opposed to the collective. With Aquarius, it's changed. So do some acts of kindness, man. Come on, get out there. You don't have to do anything major. It could be just like buy a meal and give it to some homeless guy on the street. Whatever. It could be just drop a couple quarters, or where I'm at, a couple tetri into a cup. It doesn't cost anything. Or maybe it's just as simple as opening a door for an old lady, or, you know, just acts of kindness. Pay it forward, okay? Because the more kindness out there, the more kindness you put out there, the more kindness there will be in the world. Soapbox, stepping off of it. All right. January 19th, which if 17th was Friday, this would be Sunday. Now, guys, my weeks go Monday through Sunday because I drop our episodes on Monday. So I always include Sunday. So this is January 19th, and it is a Sunday. And it is Aquarius season. Woo! Yeah! So, the sun's leaving Capricorn, it's entering Aquarius. It's basically taking it from structured ambition to innovative and community-oriented energy. Aquarius season is about embracing individuality, yes, and thinking ahead, and working with collective in a progress. That is what Aquarius is all about. So, some ideas for this is, you know, hey, focus on long-term, my nose are not moving. So, all right, focus on long-term goals, but not that just benefits you, things that benefit everyone, right? So once again, I'm using me as an example because I can't use other people. I want to launch a business to help people find their path, right? Through astrology and tarot and holistic diet and meditation and shadow work and all that stuff. I want to use my journey to get to where I am now. There she is again, ladies and gentlemen, Mama. Woo! She's going to get a drink of water. I'm using my experience to help others. So this might be a great day for me to start launching that, because my intention is to help the collective. I want to help people. I want to help people see that they aren't stuck, or if they are stuck, they can get unstuck. And it all starts with you realizing that you have to, just, my motto is just say fuck it and do the damn thing. And so that this may be a great day for me to launch that, because it is me wanting to help people, or at least work on that, because it is a long-term goal. I am planning on doing this business. Also be open to collaboration and unconventional ideas. Aquariuses are all about innovation and really, they're quite quirky. I love my Aquariuses. Teamwork and taking a look at unique perspectives. This is all big under Aquarius influence. All big, which, by the way, that means it's big because Pluto went into there too. There she is again, ladies and gentlemen. And how about just reflect on how you can use your talents to contribute to the greater good, and still stay true to who you are. And that's a big thing. And that's what I'm doing. That's why I said I'm not editing anything. I'm not using makeup. You can see my zit right here. You can see, obviously, I didn't sleep that great last night. Yeah. See it all. Why not? I'm authentic. My shirt's all jacked up. It's not hanging right. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. This is me, and I'm just being me. So maybe this day would be a great day to reflect on that and how you can contribute to the greater good and still be yourself, because it's possible. I promise you. All right, guys. That is... Oh, I got one more. I forgot. I got 2 more movements on this day. Okay, so, yes. Let's talk about Mercury in Capricorn is going to sextile Saturn in Pisces. So, steady and disciplined approach, right? To communications and decision making. It's a good time to focus on long-term plans, particularly if they're creative or in the spiritual world. Capricorn's practicality, when it's paired with Saturn's wisdom, is really about thoughtful solutions. It's a great combination, and this is on the 9th as well, guys. Finalize plans, sign contracts, solidify ideas with clear communication. Don't rush. Be deliberate with everything you do. Make sure everything is a well thought out action, right? That's Capricorn, very meticulously and planned. And then, you know what? If you're having issues or you have questions, seek advice, man. Reach out to those mentors. Reach out to those people you trust. Use your resources. They have valuable if they're in your life and you value them enough to ask advice, they have something you need. So don't be afraid to do it. Also, Mercury in Capricorn is going to sextile Venus in Pisces. So this is a harmony and beauty to communication and relationships. So Mercury is pretty pragmatic when it comes in Capricorn, right? When you accompany that with Venus, which is super romantic, it has a little bit of a dreamy influence, right? Especially when it's in Pisces. It's a good time to express your feelings, but with clarity and being tender, right? So I would say express your affection and love, man, to everyone. You know, to the people in your life, to the world, to whatever. Heartfelt words are never wrong, right? Use the energy to kind of reconcile differences. Maybe resolve misunderstandings, especially in relationships, especially in romantic relationships, I feel. It's kind of just something that came through to me. And then be open to inspiration. It's a great time to write, to compose, to create. This is a great day to do that. So, yeah, that's kind of the 19th. So there's a lot going on, but it's a great day. It's a great day to kind of finalize things and get ready to go, right? It's the 19th. We're getting ready to go into, new month. Everything astrologically is shifting. Everything is shifting. It's going to be crazy this year. And so just take that time. And that's our week in the stars, guys. I hope it helps. And if any of these energies do help or anything cool happens, just reach out to me. You know where to go. Go in the description box. There's some links to reach out to me. All right, guys. So now it's time. We're going to talk about ghosts. Yeah. So here's the thing. I could have saved this for October. That's so typical. But you know what? It's an old tradition to tell ghost stories at the holidays. And so I was like, let me be a little different. Let me be a little quirky. So, Halloween is, October is my favorite month. And Halloween, and that month you wait. There's going to be some awesome things. But I want to talk about ghosts now. So we're not going to wait. So let's picture it. It's late night. The wind's howling outside. And you're on your couch. And you have your blanket over you. Your dog just barked at an empty corner. And you're like, whatever, the dog's just being crazy. But deep down, you're a little spooked out. And you're wondering, what is that dog barking at? Or, better yet, what is your cat staring at? Because I will tell you, dogs can see things, but cats are hooked to the spiritual world, so they see a lot more. So when your cat is just staring at a blank wall, and there's no spider web or anything to attack it, it's time to be a little cautious, right? So, is there a ghost? Maybe. Why not? We're going to dive into this world. We're going to talk about it. All things, right? So, what is a ghost? If I have to tell you, well, there's some questions, right? So, ghosts are supposedly spirits of the dead who just didn't get the memo that it was time to move on, right? That's not always the case for me. Sometimes I think ghosts are people that stayed around because they felt that they had more to do on this world. They also maybe felt like there were people that needed them there. There's a lot of reasons why spirits stay behind. Unfinished business, whatever. But there's different types of ghosts, right? So And let me talk about this because we're going to go into a little bit of the parapsychology of it all, but also a little bit of the spiritual. So there's a couple different types of ghosts. We're going to talk about 4 of them. And there's more, I'm sure. So the first one is residual ghost, and that's basically like people replaying moments, right? They're not really interacting with you. They're just kind of going over their daily life over and over and over again, right? This often happens because they don't know that they're dead. And this is something I've heard. Or also they're just tied to this place. They don't want to leave it, right? There's intelligent ghosts, and these are the ones that maybe communicate with you. You might feel them shadowing you in the hallway, or some of them even like speak to you. And I've had some experiences. I don't want to sound kooky, weirdy, whatever. We can talk about those if you're interested. Message me, and I'll talk about my experiences with ghosts. But yeah, they're poltergeists, and these are kind of the more active ghosts. I know people call poltergeists evil spirits and everything. I don't like to do that. I think poltergeists, though they can be violent and they do throw stuff around and they do slam doors and they make a big scene, I think that there's just something that needs to be resolved there, right? And then you have shadow people. Now, this is one of the interesting ones because this is something that I kind of knew a little bit about, but I hadn't really talked about it. And these are mysterious entities that are like dark silhouettes. They're not really, people aren't really sure if they should be lumped into ghosts or if they're interdimensional beings or maybe just imagination, whatever it is. They're creepy. And so I decided to lump them in here. Why not, you know? Now, we talked a little bit kind of like that. Let's talk about spiritual, magical, and mystical beliefs. So let's talk spiritual. Some cultures, religions see ghosts as ancestors that are watching over. Like, that's something I believe. And it has been my experience with a couple of my experiences. And maybe they're just people that are lost. They need guidance. You know, in magic, ghosts are often seen as messengers or guardians. I have, you know, spirit guides, and they could be considered ghosts, I guess. They pop up, they say, hey, you know, what's up? Why? You know, and they give you like little signs and little things. Sometimes if you're very intuitive and very open and very attached to the spiritual realm, sometimes they will speak to you or through you. But they will send you little signs for sure. And then mystical wise, you're going to talk about seances and Ouija boards and mediums. And it's like, I believe in all of them. I do. And I just did one on Ouija boards, a podcast just a couple weeks ago. And so check it out. I do believe Ouija boards work, and I do believe, especially if the people that are using it are attached to the spirit realm. But quick tip on that, go see the podcast because there's some hints on that. So also you get into things like Hinduism, which, let me see if I can remember what they're called. They have something called restless spirits, and they're called preta. And they're basically they just wander due to unfulfilled desires. They didn't achieve everything they want, right? In Japanese, you have the yurai, which are ghosts that have white robes, and they're basically a connection to the afterlife. No matter, like, every culture has something like these in them, right? It's just there. But what's the science behind it, right? So we've talked about spirituality, we've talked about magical stuff, but is there a science to it? All right, so it's time for me to get a little nerdy. Okay, so there are lots of skeptics that say ghosts aren't real and really blame everything on scientific stuff, right? But sometimes maybe it shouldn't be blame and disbelief, but maybe looking at the combination of the two, right? So let's talk. Electromagnetic fields, right? High MFO levels can mess with your brain. And they can make you feel like you're being watched. So, you know, that could be a link to why you're feeling like somebody's watching you, right? Infrasound, which is low frequency sound waves, they too can create unease, and even with some people, hallucinations. So maybe that has something to do with it, right? Sleep paralysis is a big one. This is when you wake up, and if you've ever had it, it is actually very frightening. You wake up and you can't move. And you also have the sensation of like people in the room, like, and science says it's basically just a brain glitch. But you know, that's not what everything else is saying. Everything else is saying there's a fucking ghost in my house and I want him out. With those things, you're probably saying, wait, like, paranormal investigators use EMF detectors, right? Thermal cameras and spirit boxes. And that they have their own gadgets, and some of them detect the same things we just talked about, right? And there's thousands of stories of people. Here's the thing. One of my biggest things is this, is that if thousands and thousands of people are telling people that they've seen these things and had these experiences, you cannot discount that it's real. You can discount what it is, and you can discount maybe how it happens, but there's definitely something happening, right? So to tell someone that like what they see is not real, or what they experienced is all fake, or you know, whatever, call them crazy, that seems crazy to me, you know? And a lot of the times these things are just things that science hasn't figured out yet, right? It's the truth, you know? So I think maybe lay off on the actual final decision and just kind of wait, you know? So we've all seen them, right? We're going to talk about ghost hunters. So here's the thing. It's a mixed bag for me. I watch a lot of those shows. I find some of them very, very fascinating. And I have no doubt that some of them are actually real. I have no doubt at all. I as I said, I did a mail-order class on parapsychology. I do think some of them are real. Do I think all of them are real? Come on. It's just like tarot readers. Not all of us are real, right? I'm very intuitive, and I've done it for a long time, but I scroll through TikTok, and there are people on there that I don't necessarily know if they're doing it the right. I just don't know if they're real, right? There's fake people everywhere, right? And that goes for ghost hunters too. So I think that some of them are fun to watch, but I don't buy everything, right? And that's kind of where I'm at with that. So let's talk about the ones, and let's talk about why they would want to spend nights in like haunted asylums and fucking ghost houses and try to go to places where people have been murdered, or like why? Well, because it's kind of fun. I'm not going to say anything. I'm the person that would go spend the night in Lizzie Borden's house because I'm like, let me see what happened. Ooh. I'd go hang out in like the asylums and do all that kind of crazy shit. Why not? Like, who knows what would happen, right? We're going to talk about them a little bit. We're going to talk about their equipment. We're going to talk about a couple famous teams, and maybe talk a little bit about the tactics, right? So let's talk about equipment. We kind of mentioned a couple of it, right? They use EMF meters, and this detects electromagnetic anomalies, thermal cameras, camburgers. What the fuck? It doesn't sound appetizing at all. Cameras. These look for cold spots, and said that, like, you know, ghosts, you know, there can be cold spots for them, right? They also use digital recorders, and that captures something called EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomena. These gadgets allow them to act like they're the CSI of the ghost world, right? Okay, so I'm not really familiar with a lot of those, how they work. I know the concepts and everything, but I don't know exactly how they work. So we're not going to go too deep into that. I'm intuitive and I'm empathic. And so I go old school when I do those kind of things. I just feel my way through. It's kind of a, you know, whether you believe me or not, whether you believe in it or not, it's kind of a family thing. It's kind of just been passed down and around and everything. So let's talk about a couple famous teams. So we all know the Ghost Adventures, right? The Dead Files, Basically, there's so many of these type of shows, and they've turned ghost hunting into this like pop culture phenomena. It's a reality television show, and basically, the concepts for each of these shows are the same, right? They get together with a group, they talk with the person, they go to this haunted location, they have all these gadgets, and they stay the night or they don't, and they utilize their skill of nerves of steel to get through the night, right? I once again, I'll repeat, I think some of them are actually very good. And I think some of them are just along for the ride and making the money. And hey, you do you, boo. It's just dependent on who you are. And I think, like, you know, capitalism, money, making money is what it's about for a lot of them. So what do? So some tactics that they use trigger objects, so old toys, personal items, especially if they go to a place where they have access to that, because they're trying to coax the spirits into revealing themselves. Some even challenge the ghosts. Those are like, I'm like, what the hell? Why would you do that? Like, they got skills you ain't got, brother. What the? Don't do it. Don't challenge. I know trying to make them mad or everything. Like, no. I don't even care if they're a nice ghost. I'm not. If it's fucking Casper, I'm not gonna try to provoke him. He got skills I don't got. So no. So there's that. So, no matter what, if you're a skeptic or what, they're fun to watch and it's interesting. And there is some history involved, so that's always makes me happy. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the ghost in the room. Talking to them. So, do you think you can talk to them? Like, I'd like to know, like, please, like, anybody who watches this podcast or listens to this podcast, please shoot me a message. I'd love to have a conversation with you. I'm always fascinated about people's beliefs in that. And I'm also fascinated in who actually believes and who doesn't. Sometimes it's so surprising who doesn't. Like, there's people that you'd be like, oh, for sure, that person's definitely into it, right? They wear patchouli and they light candles and they dance around in the moonlight. And then when you talk to them, they're like, no, I don't believe in that. I'm like, what the? Are you serious? And then there's somebody who's totally skeptical. It's like, yep, totally buy it. It's definitely real. I'm like, wow, right? Yeah. All right, so let's talk about it. Engaging with the supernatural. It's a personal experience, right? And people, just depending on who they are, have different practices. Some people do it naturally, and some people do it with tools and gadgets, right? Mediums and spiritualists have been around for a long time, and they've all been seeking connections with the ghosts. But there are some top tips that you could have if you want to try to contact with them. And once again, I'm going to say, though, from a magical standpoint, what I'm going to say to you, though, is if you want to talk to spirits, I want you to be very careful, because we've seen the movies, right? So if you want to talk with the spirit, make sure, I would suggest learning how to open a circle, and you can communicate with the spirits within that circle. And then when you're done, close that circle, just to be on the safe side, just so that you don't let anybody questionable through the door. We don't want that. That's how all horror movies start. And so let's talk about some tips. So you want a calm and respectful environment. Before you communicate with ghosts and spirits, you create quiet and peaceful. Dim the lights, light a candle maybe. You can get rid of distractions. A calm space is always better because it really accentuates openness, and it makes it easier to connect, because you do have to clear your mind. There are some people that just can automatically connect with people, other mediums, like very, very, very talented mediums, and spiritualists can definitely do it. And some people are like a conduit. Some people are very open to it. But if you're someone who wants to just work on that, that's fine. You do you, boo. Like I said before, just make sure you're in a quiet place. You can also use spirit communication tools. So this includes, yes, the Ouija board, or a witch board if you want to call it that. Pendulums, EVP if you have the stuff so that you can record the voices. Basically, these are conduits, like a kind of like I said, and basically just helps you connect with the physical in a physical form. But you have to, once again, I'm going to repeat this several times, caution and respect, because it can be unpredictable. Even if you're trying to contact one person, you may find that that person is not the person that comes through, and then you have to figure out what you're going to do. So just be cautious. Then you're going to call upon the spirit. So if you're seeking a specific spirit or ghost, you want to try to call them by their name. Names are very important. You speak as loud or silently, however it is, whatever's comfortable. Use tone, very gentle tone, respectful. Don't demand, don't sound angry. Because, you know, once again, spirits got skills you don't got. So if you piss them off, I really have to learn to iron. Bad things can happen. That's what I say. If you piss them off, bad things can happen. So listen, be patient, right? If you're not someone who's done it a lot, it could take a long time. And the first couple times you may not have any communication with them, because it takes a little time to get through that ether, right? So it's definitely not an immediate response. Pay attention to subtle signs like flickering lights or maybe unusual sounds. Sometimes it depends. Sun temperature changes, and it depends on what type of you have. Some people, I know one person who does it, and they smell things first, which is weird for me, but hey, you do you. So ask clear and direct questions. Don't hem and haw around. The spirits don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. And the spirits definitely don't have time for that. So open-ended questions may be harder for spirits to answer because they don't really have the energy all the time to pass through. So yes or no questions can work well, because not only that, if they can't verbally talk with you, you can ask for like, hey, yes or no, flicker the light, right? Kind of thing. Give them something that they can do to help you with that, right? And then at the end in the session, very politely say thank you, wish them well, release them, however you've done it. Once again, I will repeat, please learn how to open circle, close circle. And if you're using a Ouija board, please remember to say goodbye, but say thank you and then goodbye. Don't be like goodbye, because that's just rude, right? You wouldn't do that to your friends. Don't do that to them. Because once again, I repeat, they got skills you don't. Okay? All right, so let's talk about the difference between ghosts and supernatural, because those two words are conflated quite regularly. So ghosts, they're spirits of individuals, as I said, passed through away, but haven't fully crossed over, right? Ghosts are often thought as manifest in various forms, apparitions, sounds, feelings, coldness, all that kind of stuff. Supernatural is a broader term, right? This means beyond the ordinary law of nature. So this is forces, magic, spirits, entities, and they don't fit within the boundaries of traditional understanding. Okay, so this can include not just ghosts, right? So that's why I say it's broader topic. This otherworldly beings like demons, angels, deities. It can also attach to phenomena like telekinesis and clairvoyance and other things like that. Supernatural also encompasses borders of a range of experiences, right? So entities beyond spirits and dead. It can be mystical forces, magic, alternate realms of existence. Supernatural also includes things like vampires, werewolves, the boogeyman, fairies, Bigfoot, I guess, if he's real. We don't know. And all that kind of stuff, right? So ghosts are a type of supernatural entity, but supernatural is the broader term for things that kind of defy natural laws, okay? So no matter if you believe in entities or just find the subject intriguing, I think learning about the differences is kind of important. And that is, let me get my notes going. So that's it, guys. That's ghosts. What do you think? Do you believe? I'm a believer. I am. I've had too many experiences to not believe. And some of them quite interesting. So once again, I say, like, if you're interested in hearing about my stories, please shoot me a message. I'd love to talk about them. And maybe if enough people are interested, maybe I will make like some social media posts about it. Or them, because a lot. And so, yeah, that's it for ghosts, guys. I'm a believer. I think it's intriguing, and you know, at one point I thought if I could make money doing it, I would love to do it. But now I'm just into it. It's cool. It's so cool, and it's such an interesting glimpse into history. Once again, I'm a history nerd, so obviously ghosts are going to be pretty cool to me, right? All right. Like I said, that's it for this podcast. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you're enjoying the video podcast. I know it's not super exciting. I'm going to put some graphics up, I think. We'll see how it goes. And eventually, as I gain more followers and earn more money, we will get more cooler equipment. And I will be able to use my film education for more than film reviews. You know, that might be nice. I had that student loan debt for a long time, and I might as well use the education. Anyways, guys, like I said, as always, if you want to reach out to me, there are links in my description box to my social media as well as an email. If you want to support the podcast, you can do that by liking, reviewing, sharing, commenting, whatever you want to do. And then also, if you want to kick a little cash my way, there is links to my Buy Me a Coffee and a Patreon in the description box. And if you want more detailed information, check out the Medium publication, and also check out my other podcast. There's a link in the description box to that. It's called Where All the Ladies At. So if you're into history and the ladies, check it out. It's pretty cool. I think that's it for the shameless plugging, and that is it for this episode, guys. I really enjoyed your time. Thank you so much. Hope to hear from you. And until next time, guys, stay curious and be blessed.